Honestly, I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake project is in the best place it possibly can, leading up to its third part because of everything that is happening leading up to that, and that includes the announcement of the release date of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on Nintendo Switch 2 and the Xbox Series consoles. In today's video, we're going to talk all about it, including changes to the game for these versions and a few things about Part 3, so I'm hoping you can join me for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. If you like the content you are seeing, please hit that like button, hit the hype button, and if you want to stick around for some more Final Fantasy content, then you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. So we've just had a Nintendo Direct, and during that Nintendo Direct we had a trailer hyping up Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on the Nintendo Switch 2, and we got its release date, and its release date is January 22nd, 2026, and this has also been confirmed as the release date for the Xbox Series console version as well. I predicted it was going to come out around this time. I got the timing wrong when it came to the announcement. I didn't think we were going to get an announcement until the Game Awards, giving us about a month to hype up this release, but it got announced here. It kind of is fitting, to be fair, since we've seen it in the original Switch 2 Direct, but the timing I got was between the end of January and the beginning of February. I think it's a great place for us to get Remake Integrate on Switch 2 and on Xbox, because there is now the possibility that we may even get Rebirth in the same year, both for Switch 2 and for the Xbox series of consoles. So let me start off asking the question, are you going to be double dipping and getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on Switch 2 or Xbox? Or if you're here and you haven't purchased or played Final Fantasy VII Remake, will you be getting it on either of these consoles? Now let's actually dive into what we're getting here, because I'm actually quite impressed what Square are offering when it comes to Remake Integrate on Switch 2 specifically. But something we're going to be getting in both versions of this game are Streamline progression settings, which is essentially what we're used to from the older ports of Final Fantasy, the boosters. So for Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, we are getting these features, and these include your HP always being full. So your HP is always at its maximum value at all times, even when being hit by an enemy. Your HP won't go down a single bit, and instant death is also removed. We also have MP always being full, so it will always stay at its maximum value no matter what we do and use. The limit gauge is always full, so we can spam limit breaks to our heart's content. Our ATB gauge is always full, so we can do as many abilities as we want whenever we want. And there is the last one here where it is damage dealt is always 9,999. So essentially all of these settings turned on at the same time means we have God mode. Now I have seen people complain about people complaining about this feature, although I've not really seen people complain about these features, if that makes sense. I always seem to see when something comes out of a subject when it comes to Final Fantasy is the people complaining about the people complaining. I don't think there's any reason to complain about this because it's an optional feature. If you're someone that is very salty that someone can now have a different first time experience to you, then that is a problem that you need to tackle, and you don't need to make that everybody else's problem. But I think this is great for people that want to get invested in the story, and for those that want to just get through the game and embrace everything from the Final Fantasy VII Remake project has to offer. I should also imagine that when Rebirth comes around that it's going to also have these features. Now it hasn't been confirmed if this Streamline progression update is going to come to the PlayStation and PC versions. A lot of people think it won't because they didn't do it with Final Fantasy X, because if you didn't know, Final Fantasy X had boosters on its PC version, but it never got it for its PlayStation, Xbox or Switch versions. I think we are going to be getting this as an update for Remake, and we'll be seeing it at the beginning of next year. If I end up being wrong, come back to this video and tell me that I was wrong, but I'm fairly confident that this is going to be the case, because it is quite clear that Square are pushing Remake and its project leading up to its third part. Hamaguchi did explain why he's introduced these features, and it's pretty much what we expect. It's for those that want a easier experience to flow through the story a lot more easier and just make it accessible to anyone with any kind of playstyle, which I think is great. And the key thing, these are optional. These are not being forced upon you, and those that may be complaining about this will probably end up using it to some degree anyway. Let's all be honest here. But let me know what you think of these changes down below. I think it's great. More people to play this game, experience the story, and be on the ride with us leading up to part 3. Now let's talk about the physical version for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, because I am pretty impressed with this. Let's get the elephant out of the room straight away. Yes, it is a game keycard, but this is a game that is over 80 gigs. I think in some cases, once you've got Intergrade on there as well, it's around 93 gig. So it's not going to fit on a card regardless. You would have to download something if it was a game cartridge anyway. So I feel that argument is out of the window. It's just the way it is. That aside, what we are getting in this physical version is pretty cool. We get the reversible cover with brand new art, and this art looks incredible. We of course get the intermission DLC. We also get in-game content provided. We get the Cactus Star weapon for Yuffie. We get the summer materials of Carbuncle, Chocobo Chicken, Cactuar. We get the accessories of the Superstar Belt, the Seraphiric earrings, and the Mako Crystal, which is, I think the Mako Crystal is elemental boosts across the board. The earrings provide auto life, I believe, and the Superstar Belt allows you to get hit all the way to 1 HP if it's a powerful hit and not die, but this only works once. But since we got the boosters, I guess these accessories don't really matter. But we also get some armors in the Midgar Bangle, the Koneo Armlet, and the Shinra Bangle. So all of the DLC that we've seen for Remake in the past is here in this. But not only that, we get a Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy play booster. Of course, these are just while stocks last, but considering the price of these things, and then the price ultimately for the package here in the UK is £40, $39.99. I think that's an incredible deal right there. Unfortunately, no physical on the Xbox side. I will definitely be getting this version because I want to support the Remake project. I'm of course going to be double dipping and playing through this again on the Switch 2, and I'm pretty excited for it. But for those that might not want physical, there is a pretty decent digital incentive, which is both on Xbox and Switch 2. You pretty much get everything that I've just mentioned in this digital deluxe edition, which you get with the physical version, but you also get a couple of other things, which I feel is great for new players that are going to be getting this for the first time and diving into the world of Final Fantasy VII. So you get the digital art book and a mini soundtrack, which is always nice because Remake, we all know, has a kick-ass soundtrack. But the most unique thing, as long as you purchase this before the end of January, you receive the original Final Fantasy VII, which is great. All for £40, you get the original Final Fantasy VII, all of the DLC, mini soundtrack, and an art book. I think Square really hit the nail on the head for this one, and it is at a really good price. They could have charged 70, they could have charged 80 for this, but £40 and I guess close to $50 is a really good price for what you're getting in this package. So let me know, are you going digital, are you going physical? I'm very interested to see if people are double dipping or not. Now, before we move on to the part 3 stuff, I just want to talk about the fact that people say this is too little too late. Why is there such a big hurrah for Final Fantasy VII when it came out, the remake specifically, in 2020? Well, I just think that they want to get everyone in the same boat. They finally got it on all platforms, and we're just looking at it from perspectives of people that bought it in 2020. A lot of people didn't. We're not the only people in the world. The people are not even in the realm of the social media space and may see it on shelves in stores at the beginning of the year. They're the people that they're trying to get invested in this journey, and this is the best way to go about it. They're getting it out on all platforms. And that now leads us to part 3. We've waited all video to get to this one, but I think this is very important. Hamaguchi said in a tweet, and I quote, "The Final Fantasy VII Remake series will be expanding to major platforms moving forward. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. We're committed to making sure players can enjoy each part in a way that suits their lifestyle. As we approach the final part, Final Fantasy VII Return." I am truly grateful that more people will have the opportunity to experience the world we've poured our hearts into. So we have confirmation that all of the parts will be out on all platforms, but it raises the question, when part 3 comes to fruition and gets its release date, will it be coming out on just PlayStation 5 like Rebirth and Remake before it, or will it be coming out on all platforms? A lot of people think it's going to be an exclusivity deal again. But I don't think that's the case, because he specifically says here that we can expect the whole series to be coming out on all platforms, and if they were tied into an exclusivity deal still with part 3, they would have not mentioned part 3 and all of the platforms in the same thing. There would have been some kind of clause, I don't know these specifically, but I am assuming here, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume if they are under a contract for having one of their games just come out on PlayStation before it comes out onto other platforms, that they are not allowed to mention that it's coming out on other platforms. They would just have that asterisk of only available for 6 months or a year like they've had before. They specifically mentioned all the platforms in this tweet. It hasn't been taken down, so that's the way I am perceiving it. I could be perceiving it wrong, but that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on it, but the fact that they have mentioned the final part, the series is coming to all major platforms, tells me that it's going to be out on all platforms on the same date, and I think that's what they've been fighting for with all of the multi-platform strategy that they've been kind of twisting and turning this year that we've seen. I think that's what they're aiming for. They want everyone to get on the ride, and when the third part comes out, everyone's going to be in the same boat and be able to play it wherever they want on the same day. And I think this is low-key confirmation of that. But I could be wrong. But I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Excited to play through Remake again. I'm excited to play through Rebirth again. I'm really eager to get into Rebirth and do another playthrough, but I want to play Remake first. And I think playing these on the Switch 2 personally for me is the way I'm going to replay these games leading up to the third part, which of course I'm probably going to play on PlayStation, but I've got the excuse of playing it on the Switch 2. Anyway, I appreciate you joining me in this one. Let's get some Final Fantasy VII hype. Expect some more part 3 stuff from me in the future, but I'm leaving it there. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.